So I'm going to do one of the most fun things fly tyers get to do, and that's sit down at the bench and just experiment, try to come up with something unique, some new pattern. Now what I came up with tonight, I can't really call it a new pattern. It's very similar to a lot of patterns out there, and it's pretty similar to one that I've tied and fished before. Now I've had a little bit of success with one tied very similar to this, but with a squirrel dubbed body and then some kind of red floss for the rib. But what I'm doing this one, I'm mixing it up a little bit. I want to use some of that MFC Sexi-floss, which is kind of almost a leg material, but I'm going to use it for a rib. And then I'm going to change the body instead of some kind of fur dubbing. I'm going to use I think it's Diamond Brite UV, kind of like an ice dub. Now it's a very simple tie, but you can get a lot of mileage out of a pattern like this. So there we have it in the vise, the as yet to be named experimental nymph, whatever we want to call this thing. Now I'm tying it on a size 14, it's a curved shank, actually clink hammer hook, and that is a 2.8 millimeter tungsten bead. And I'm gonna go ahead and put just a little bit of 015 lead-free wrap here. Maybe 5 wraps, really just to kind of hold this bead in place. And that one we had in the vise at the beginning, I used black thread. I'm gonna mix this up a little bit, go with some red thread. And I gotta, watch that, see that weight? I got a little nub right there. Just try to bury that so you don't have any real sharp points. Not doing a real good job at it, but yeah, that's close enough. Couple wraps over the weight, and we'll leave our thread right here. You don't have to take it all the way back yet, so we're going to catch in our rib right up here behind the weight. And this is where I'm using something new. This is that MFC Sexi-floss. Kind of stretchable, see that right there? And let's just catch it in right behind this weight. And then take it on back to where we want to start our body. Okay, I think that's fine. We'll back our thread up just a little bit, and we'll put a little wax on it so we can put some dub in here. And if I mentioned in the intro, the only other fly tie similar to this, I use squirrel dubbing. This one, I'm going with a light bright, or Diamond Brite. It's a Spirit River with a little bit of UV in it. And I'm gonna get, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 inch noodle here. I'm gonna take it up right up to where I get behind that bead. So it might take a little bit more than this, but we'll see. And you don't have to put it real tight because that rib, we can use that to help us shape the body and lay it down a little bit flatter as well. And that is not enough. Let's go with a little bit more. Okay, that should get us up close to right behind the bead. Okay, that's fine. It's a little bit lumpy, but you know, I don't really care. This is a fishing fly. Now we're gonna wrap this Sexi-floss. And as I look at this, we could be using a thick red thread for this, or a floss. I don't think this Sexi-floss is adding anything that wouldn't add, but it is kind of cool to work with, and it's a neat material. So let's get it right up here behind the bead, and it's a 70 denier thread, so it's thin thread with a thick squishy rib here, so I'm gonna need several wraps, I think, before I snip it off. Now I want to put some kind of soft hackle for legs. This is just a partridge, small feather from Hungarian partridge. Create a little tie-in point right there. Let's go ahead and catch this in right behind the bead. Come on there, feather. You can do it. Can't go real tight with these wraps because these feathers are kind of delicate. So I'm going to fold it back, just get a couple more lock-in wraps, and then I'll snip the front part of this feather off right there. I'm going to need my hackle pliers because this whole feather is about 1/2 inch long. I'm not going to get too many wraps, but I don't want too many. Maybe 1 full wrap, I think, should be plenty. Yeah, let's go with that right there and catch it off. Okay, now let's snip this stem. Quick blow, get any loose fibers out, and now we'll just fill in this gap behind the bead. And this is why I wanted to use red thread with this one. Just gives me a little bit more, kind of like a hot spot there. Let's go ahead and wet finish it right here. And see if we have any cleanup. Nah, not really. It's a buggy fly, but I kind of like it buggy. I suppose I will put a drop of head cement right there on that bead and those front thread wraps. But that's it, my friends. I appreciate you watching. Y'all take care, and we'll see you next time. Okay, everybody. Thank you for sticking around. Now, I probably shouldn't do this because I know I'm about 3 videos behind in responding to comments, but we haven't done a Name the Fly contest in a while, and since this one doesn't have a name, let's do that here today. Now, I know I'll get 100+ comments on this one that I probably won't even have time to answer, but here's the deal. Since you just watched the video, leave a comment with what you think we should call this thing. Come up with something cool and creative, and I'll pick the top 4 or so and we'll put it out there for a vote. And then the winner, I'll send you a $25 gift card to Jay Stockard. So that's it, my friends. Just me saying thank you for sticking around watching this video. I appreciate you watching all the videos. And even though I don't always get to the comments, I do appreciate when you leave them. And I promise you, I do read them. So that's all. We'll see you in a couple days.